when I get home, knock on my door and explain why you had to go, and act like that. You do not have to talk tough. That is Suge from prison, calmly reminding Snoop that this talk is not finished. Snoop has been talking recklessly, while his former boss sits behind bars. Suge recently stated he was once a superstar, but now he is an inmate. Subscribe to our channel and tell us your thoughts on this. Talking tough was easy with permanent distance, but now there is real release talk. An appeal is moving through court, and Snoop might regret his previous verbal shots at him, at one of hip-hop's most feared figures, while he was locked away. Before our team discuss Snoop, you and I must truly understand what Suge actually represented in this game, since he was never just a typical record label executive. He built one of the most dominant labels in history by constantly being the most terrifying person. Suge Knight stood 6 feet 2 inches and weighed well over 300 pounds at his peak. He rose out of Compton with deep street ties, using every single bit of that dangerous background in business. In the early 90s, Death Row Records was co-founded by Suge, Dr. Dre, and other associates. From the start, his industry style was entirely different. He did not send high-priced attorneys first. He sent muscle instead. Consider the infamous incident with Vanilla Ice back in the 90s, where, our research shows, Suge confronted the rapper over unpaid royalties connected to a Death Row associate. According to legend, Suge held him over a high hotel balcony by his ankles, though Vanilla Ice later clarified it was just a threat. But either way, the chilling message was clear: never owe money to Suge. Like this video as we look next at the confrontation with Ruthless Records. Suge wanted to free Dr. Dre from his contract so they could build the Death Row empire. He allegedly brought baseball bats and lead pipes to persuade executives to let those contracts go. Jerry Heller detailed this terrifying encounter in his memoir, noting the sheer dread Suge brought to rooms. Let us examine another story. Corrupt shared a chilling tale about a label employee who messed up travel plans. The worker was physically assaulted inside a restroom and was allegedly forced to drink human waste out of a bucket collected from multiple people. The artist recounted this to illustrate the extreme psychological terror used to enforce order inside, where minor errors became nightmares. Now we must examine his most terrifying public television moment. In 2003, Suge appeared on national television shortly after his release from prison. The host wore a bulletproof vest as a gag, but the on-screen tone shifted when Suge casually pivoted to a shocking topic, mentioning that modern technology is high. He noted that shooting someone gets you locked up forever. Our team noticed him smirking while discussing alternative, silent methods of fatal street violence, acting completely unfazed by it. He claimed there is a new method people whisper about, saying they obtain the blood of infected fluids from patients who are suffering from terminal illnesses. Then they inject you with it, directly linking this method to the passing of rapper Eazy-E from medical complications in 1995, calling it a slow, painful death. He casually laughed and noted that Eazy-E was gone. The studio audience sat completely stunned by the comment. Later, the rapper's son shared that clip online, fueling online rumors. However, our investigation shows police never opened a homicide investigation, and the theories remain unverified. Still, the fact that Suge could sit on television and make those comments shows why people feared him. Subscribe for more editorial updates on this story. He made sure everyone knew he was capable of anything, keeping his rivals constantly guessing about his next move. This is the very man Snoop Dogg spent an entire career working with, clashing against, and navigating. So, when release rumors surface, you and I truly understand why the industry is nervous. It was far from just internet hype. We are talking about decades of real danger and consequences. And nobody knew that better than Snoop. Take his escape from Death Row. When his classic album Doggy Style dropped in 1993, it became an instant cultural shift. This massive Death Row Records release turned him into one of the absolute biggest names in music overnight. But standing on top at Death Row meant that Suge Knight controlled everything: the money, the not contracts, the image, and the movement. Snoop was the star, but Suge held the keys. After Tupac Shakur was killed in September 1996, with Suge sitting right beside him as the shots fired, the energy at the label shifted completely. Death Row was suddenly swallowed by paranoia, death, and deep allegations. Our news team tracked how Snoop often recalled that toxic environment where the money started disappearing, trust evaporated, and survival became a real concern. By the late 90s, Snoop won out, but leaving Suge was not like quitting a normal day job. Master P had to broker Snoop's exit by sitting down directly with Suge, leading Snoop to No Limit Records. Few people had the courage to walk away from Knight and survive. If you love deep music history, hit like. Once Snoop left, the shots started flying. Not real bullets, but the career-ending kind. Suge felt betrayed, and we all know that when Suge felt crossed, he never let it slide. He took aim through media interviews, his remaining roster, and on the streets. In 2002, Snoop dropped Pimp, slapped off his album Paid the Cost to Beat a Boss, and it was easily the most fearless diss track anyone had ever aimed at Suge. It targeted him directly, exposing financial jealousy, stolen royalties, and that legendary line calling Suge out on his very life. For Snoop to publish those lyrics when the entire industry was still too terrified to utter Suge's name was a massive statement. But the interview that truly defined Snoop's stance surfaced in a classic clip from 2003. He absolutely blasted Suge for exploiting Tupac's legacy after his passing, focusing heavily on those posthumous album releases where zero money reached Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur. Snoop called it out, and he did it brutally. So you won't catch me making Tupac remixes or trying to sell old songs we recorded when he was alive. He made it clear that he refused to profit off his late friend's name like everyone else was doing. Then, he pointed his finger directly at the man responsible. If his mother is not getting paid, nobody should be making a single dollar off his work. Snoop went completely off on Suge, exposing exactly what was happening behind closed doors. Suge got so rich off the rest of us that he should not get another dime off Tupac. He is already robbing him. He robbed us, so that estate money belongs to his mother. That footage also captured the infamous moment. Snoop said he hoped Suge would rot in a jail cell. The clip went viral on YouTube. Tap subscribe so you never miss these historic rap beef breakdowns whenever the drama resurfaced. We also saw Snoop detail a tense face-off at the BET Awards, proving that power dynamics had completely flipped. As Snoop put it, if you ask what happened, he would say, "The bully got checked, plain and simple." He painted Suge as a typical schoolyard bully who kept everyone hiding their lunch money and chains until the day he ran into someone who refused to back down. On that day, the bully got checked, forcing him to tuck his gold chain away and try to light a cigar. Snoop painted a vivid picture of Suge retreating, desperately acting cool while the entire room knew exactly what just went down. Snoop said he did not even need to sit there defending what did or did not happen. Then, he delivered the ultimate punchline. They were fully prepared to beat him down, but held back only because they did not want to ruin the major award show, hinting they would wait 5 or 6 years to settle the score if he was still around. This was Snoop declaring that Suge's reign of terror had officially ended, at least when it came to him. But talking like that while Suge is locked up is one thing. The question we have to ask is always the same. What happens when that cell door finally opens? It looked like strategic forgiveness. After all the diss tracks, the brutal interviews, and the award show callouts, Snoop did something that shocked the hip-hop world. Drop a like and subscribe for part 2. Let's look at the community. Snoop Dogg forgave Suge Knight, but the timing of that piece makes us wonder. In 2013, Snoop publicly claimed that they had ended their legendary feud, calling it a historic meeting of two powerful rap industry minds who realized their war was bad for business. But our team noticed how Snoop doubled down on this peace narrative in a 2016 interview on The Breakfast Club. In that discussion, he broke down a 3 to 4 hour meeting with Suge where they cleared the air. He insisted they were cool, and that the bad blood was never really about pure hatred. Instead, it was about Suge being frustrated that he could no longer control his star artist. Snoop claimed Suge demanded absolute ownership over his roster, and when Snoop wanted his own freedom, the partnership completely shattered, causing the massive rift. But what shocked us most was when Snoop admitted that Suge had actually ordered a hit on his life, yet he forgave him anyway. Snoop detailed how he got caught off guard, and Suge cornered. Instead of getting violent, Snoop switched to his calm, normal self, and suggested they sit down and talk upstairs. That heavy conversation lasted hours, and by the end, the beef was supposedly squashed. Snoop even got deep, claiming he chose to let go because he wanted to live peacefully and stop carrying toxic grudges. For a rap icon who had once openly wished for his rival to rot behind bars, This was a stunning turnaround. Then, in 2019, Snoop dropped Let Bygones Be Bygones as an ultimate musical peace offering. The track honored their legacy, acknowledged Suge for launching his career, and warned against attacking a man while he is down. But as commentators, we cannot ignore the suspicious timing here. Those peace talks in 2013 and 2016 aligned perfectly with rumors of Suge's early parole or imminent release. That 2016 interview aired right before Suge's big 2018 sentencing, when his fate was up in the air. Nobody knew if he would beat the charges, get off easy, or walk out on some legal loophole. Put yourself in Snoop's shoes for a second. You have spent years blasting the most dangerous boss in rap history. You publicly prayed he would rot in a cell, called him fake, and bragged about checking the bully. But now, there is a real threat that this same bully is returning to the streets. Your move? You pick up the phone, host a massive 3-hour talk to settle the score, and broadcast the peace to the world. In the rap game, where street rivalries routinely end in tragedy, keeping your enemies close is not just a quote, it is a survival tactic. Notice how the peace vanished the moment Suge got hit with 28 years behind bars, making his return highly unlikely. This tells us everything. While Suge was still a threat, Snoop was actively pushing for peace. But once that danger was locked away for decades, the friendly acts stopped and the tension returned. This means if Suge ever gets close to freedom, those strategic alliances will be rushed back into play, with stakes higher than ever before. Now, Death Row has a new owner, and Suge is absolutely furious. In February 2022, Snoop shocked the industry by acquiring Death Row Records, buying the iconic hip-hop label and brand from Blackstone. It was a massive, full-circle moment for the icon who kicked off his legendary career there nearly 30 years ago. The wild ownership history of Death Row, following Suge's departure, is pure corporate chaos. After filing for bankruptcy in 2006, it was sold to Wide Awake for $18 million in 2009, then bought by Entertainment One in 2012. Hasbro purchased them in 2019 for $4 billion, meaning the toy brand behind My Little Pony owned gangster rap's most notorious catalog. Blackstone bought the assets in 2021, which is exactly who Snoop secured the rights from. Snoop claimed his mission was to finally support veteran artists who were never properly paid, launching a new era. He put the classic catalog back on streaming and signed new talent, partnering with major publishers. But watching from his cell inside the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility, Suge was tracking every strategic play. In explosive jailhouse interviews with The Art of Dialogue, he attacked Snoop with intense fury, proving to us that their brief era of forgiveness is officially dead and buried. Snoop, you said I'm mad because you bought Death Row. What you buy? Show me where y'all paid the money to buy it. Suge demanded receipts, challenging Snoop to prove the transaction was actually real. Show me how you and Mike, cause y'all were called a rat on the company. Show me the paperwork. Show us what you actually own. Suge then pivoted to Snoop's executive track record, comparing his results to what Death Row accomplished under his watch versus Snoop's run, claiming Snoop was going backward. He argued Snoop is trying to recreate his classic formula, but instead of making legendary hits, he only disappoints the world with constant flops. Suge backed this up with brutal details about their chart performances, boasting that when he ran the Dog Pound, they sold millions. But under Snoop's control, they sold absolutely nothing. Suge even took direct shots at the Snoop and Dre brand new reunion album, mocking Dre's claim that it was the absolute best record of his entire life. But from our view as commentators, we cannot tell because it vanished so incredibly fast. What made this interview so explosive, though, was Suge getting deeply personal, bringing up the Trey D situation and painting Snoop as a fake friend who burned those closest to him. Remember Snoop's old artist name, Trey D? Right as he started detailing this, a computerized voice suddenly cut in, warning that calls are monitored, reminding us instantly where Suge is calling from. He pressed on with his wild accusations, claiming Snoop never paid Trey D a dime. He alleged that Trey D actually shot Snoop's entire house up. According to Suge, this situation quickly went from a simple contract dispute to violent gunfire, prompting Snoop to run straight to the police. He claims Snoop took the security footage to the district attorney to arrest him. Our editorial team noted that Suge alleges Snoop handed that crucial surveillance footage over to the district attorney, forcing Trey D into a 10-year plea deal. Whether that's entirely accurate is something we have seen hip-hop fans debate for years. But Suge saying this from prison carries massive weight. In that world, working with the authorities is considered the ultimate violation of the street code. Hit subscribe as we look at his other claims. Did Snoop actually do anything positive for Death Row Records? Absolutely not, according to Suge, who went scorched earth on Snoop's controversial legacy and his alliance with Master P, calling it a blatant pattern of disloyalty. Then, he brought it right back to the money, making it clear a massive debt was never settled. He claims Snoop still owes him. Snoop fired back in May 2025 on his record, Is It a Crime?, with the track Shut Your Ass Up, boasting about buying Suge's assets and calling him a snitch in protective custody. Suge used to be a superstar, but now, what is he? Just another inmate. He used to be a powerful executive, but today, he is behind bars. The peace offerings are officially over. There are no bygones here. They are right back to war. Drop a like as we explain why people are starting to panic. Snoop has finally done something he spent decades avoiding. He went entirely after Suge at a moment when early release is heavily rumored. That is a completely different game than talking trash when your rival is serving 28 long years. This potential release changes absolutely everything, and we are here to break down why. Let us look at why we believe Snoop has every single reason to be nervous right now. Suge is serving 28 years for a 2015 hit and run that killed Terry Carter. He pleaded no contest in 2018 under California's strict 3 strikes law. He is at the Donovan State Prison with official parole set for October 2034. But under state guidelines, inmates can earn 50% off for good behavior, meaning his actual release timeline could be dramatically shorter. In March 2025, a major legal petition of his was denied by the judge, who deemed it too late and without merit. His attorney, David Kenner, called the decision shocking and immediately announced plans to appeal. That legal process is still very active. A denial is not the end. We know there are higher courts and new filings that could change the game. Then, in March 2026, Suge made a completely unexpected move, announcing a tell-all memoir, Your Pain Is My Joy, set to hit bookshelves on August 4th of this year. In 2026, this book promises inside details on Tupac's murder from his perspective, clashes with Diddy, and the complete Death Row saga. With Diddy's legal issues making the public desperate for behind-the-scenes drama, this upcoming release is shaping up to be nuclear. Think about the impact on Snoop Dogg. You and I know this is no prison interview on a minor YouTube channel. This is a massive book deal with one of the top publishers in the industry, and the content will expose every single thing Snoop has spent several decades trying to keep quiet. Death Row ownership, Tupac's death, the money trail, snitching allegations, the tradee drama, everything is being laid bare from Suge's own perspective. Backed by Simon & Schuster's massive marketing machine, Snoop has absolutely zero control over what gets printed on those pages. Suge has already given us a clear taste of what to expect. He warned, "You owe me, brain, but you ain't too smart. Because if someone really owes you, if you really owe somebody, pay them their money." That was Suge calmly laying out his math. Pay up or face the consequences. You will end up spending more cash on beefing up security and living in fear. Then he dropped the line that sits at the very heart of what you and I are analyzing. Or when I get home, knock on my door and tell me why you don't want me to have my bread. You don't have to talk tough. That is Suge Knight on a prison phone, telling the artist who bought his label and called him an inmate that there will eventually be a face-to-face meeting. He said it calmly, the same way he casually referenced Eazy-E's death on Jimmy Kimmel 20 years ago. That chilling composure is what makes it so unsettling, because history shows us that Suge does not make empty threats. Even while discussing the bigger picture, Suge kept shifting the narrative back to Snoop, saying, "We should be trying to figure out how to make hip-hop better. Everybody is destroying hip-hop. You guys are making it worse." He called out the streaming model as a new system of exploitation, stating, "If they are doing streams, and if you do 1 million streams and only get $300, if that isn't a sign of slavery, that is worse than being a slave." He then dragged it right back to Snoop, saying, "Snoop is giving you that without the payroll. But at the same time, what is there to talk about? If you have Death Row, you destroyed it. That jab was highly calculated. We have noticed Suge connecting Snoop to this ongoing drama across multiple interviews, using this massive cultural moment to amplify his grievances. On a viral TMZ clip, Suge went deep into his theory that Tupac is still alive. He claimed, "At the same time, Puffy can give him a star and every writer in the world says he is the one who killed Tupac." He directly targeted Diddy, implying that federal informants have been controlling the narrative around Tupac's murder. Why do you think nobody was arrested if they said they killed Tupac? Because they are snitching to the police, so they won't get locked up. Then, Suge dropped the conspiracy theory that has kept him relevant for decades, claiming, "Because Tupac is not dead." Tupac is not dead. Whether you believe his claims is entirely beside the point. What matters is that Suge Knight, even from a prison cell, still behaves like a man with nothing left to lose. He has a memoir on the way that could completely rewrite hip-hop history regarding Death Row, Tupac, Diddy, and Snoop. His lawyer is actively pushing appeals, a digital fanbase trending the Free Suge hashtag, and he has already told Snoop on tape that he plans to pay him a visit the second he is released. So, when critics say Snoop Dogg is panicking over news of Suge Knight's upcoming release, perhaps the question you and I should ask is not if he is panicking, but should he be? As commentators, we see the pattern clearly. Every single time talk of his release heats up, Snoop's business strategy changes. He extended olive branches when Suge's future was up in the air, then went on the attack when a heavy prison sentence made freedom seem impossible. Now, with a tell-all book arriving in active appeals, combined with prison credits that could accelerate his release, real paranoia is creeping back. Snoop acquired the man's entire empire. He dissed him on tracks, labeled him an inmate on camera, and told him to shut up. All of that history that was easy to say from safety, with 28 years of concrete and razor wire keeping his consequences away. But if that gap begins to close even slightly, then every single diss becomes a receipt that Death Row founder Suge Knight has been holding in his cell, waiting for the day he can cash them in. And if there is one thing 3 decades of hip-hop history have taught us, it is that Suge always collects. Tap subscribe for more rap news.